My name is Tanya Bruneau, and I am an aerial artist based out of Seattle, Washington. I've been doing aerial for 9 years now and performing locally as well as internationally. And for the past few years, I've been excited by big multidisciplinary projects. My first project was the aerial spiral in 2011. It is a 10-foot long spiral shape which I designed and performed on. The second piece that I created was a large globe. It was called Tangio, which means moon in Japanese, and it was a collaboration between myself and artist Yuri Kinoshita. We debuted that piece last year at Smoke Farm, and it is a piece in which an aerial artist is suspended in this globe. While the globe is illuminated from the inside, the aerialist is creating shadows. These pieces have led up to the wind chime piece as they've gotten larger in scope. The wind chime piece is a collaboration between myself and 6 other aerial artists, as well as 2 musicians. The initial planning process began with an engineer and myself sketching ideas around a table. The point was to have a G scale, 7 notes in the scale, and then the 8th note is an octave. We needed to create the pipe lengths to make each of those respective notes and the octave. And we also needed those pipes to be weight-bearing. So I selected pipe based on what would be the ideal width for our hands. This basically the same width as a standard pole, slightly narrower. The narrower the pole, the easier it is to grip. Planning the length of each pipe was a challenge in itself. For this, I had to do research online and find the equation that tells you which length to cut the pipe to, and I needed an engineer to help me with that equation. And so after we figured out the lengths, we took them to a welder who specially engineered the cables and all the attachments to be weight-bearing and safe for us to use. The cables were all custom made to certain lengths based on at what point the node for the rigging was in each of the pipe. Now the nodes are at different heights too, based on which note we're trying to create. So it was a very precise operation. Not only did we need to cut the pipes, I needed to make some luminaries. Another part of this piece was the lighting. So what I did was I took the additional pipe lengths into the shop and I hand drilled hundreds of holes on a drill press into these pipe bits to create these luminaries from which light could shoot out in little spurts. After we got the luminaries figured out, we had to figure out the rigging. Thankfully, we had a residency in June that all the artists came up for, and we got to practice in the space. Now we were rigging in a tree. For our rigging, we needed to have someone who is knowledgeable about trees to make sure that we were safe and rigging from sturdy branches. We had someone on the team at Smoke Farm that was able to do this for us, and so he installed our rigging. For the musical component of this piece, we had a composer, John Olafs, specially write each separate suite for this piece. He wrote the pieces depending on who was up in the air at what time. Some suites are with only 5 notes and 2 people being up in the air. Some suites are 4 notes with 3 people being up in the air. So as the performers, we had to learn these suites. The rehearsal process consisted of us standing around with our pipes and sheet music, learning when to hit the pipes at what times. So not only did we have to learn the physical movements, we had to learn when these musical notes were happening. Once we got through the rehearsal process, once we got into the space and figured out our rigging, we had to then think about the lighting aspect. We had a rehearsal the night before for the artists to watch, in which we mixed traditional stage lighting with our ambient lighting. The feedback we got from that was that the stage lighting was too bright, and they wanted us to dim it quite a bit in order to achieve the dreamlike state that I had envisioned. For the performance night, we took away some of the stage lighting and added more ambient lighting in order to achieve this dreamlike state. Going forward with this piece, I would like to possibly create a full-length show with the same team. We have multiple different pieces and talents between us, and I would love to see more work like this come to life. I believe that it would be good to see more shows where disciplines just seamlessly blend together, where artists go between one medium and the next. I don't think artists should be expected to stick into one genre or one medium. I don't think like a dancer should just dance, or a musician should just play music, or a circus artist is just a circus artist. I think there should be exploration between the mediums so that it all blends together. And yeah, this would be exciting for me to see and explore further in my work.